The Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons having business before this court are admonished to draw an eye, give their attention to the court. Now sitting.
Thank you, and all please be seated. It is indeed an honor to welcome everyone with us today and those who are watching the proceedings virtually. Today, the Supreme Court of Kansas sits in special session so that our newly appointed Justice, Larkin Walsh, can publicly take her oath of office and join us as a colleague. I am Eric Rosen. I'm the acting Chief Justice of the Kansas Supreme Court, and I am indeed honored to be presiding over this ceremony, one that marks such a very special day for Justice Walsh and her family, for our court, and for the administration of justice in our great state. And colleagues, before I proceed, I just want to take a moment for us all, just for us, to savor the warmth and the joyous feeling before us today. Believe me, it is rare to see such smiling faces on those gathered before us as when we preside, and I think Justice Walsh is a testament to our inductee. We are pleased to welcome Justice Walsh's family and friends, including her husband, Matt, and her children, Art, Bikely, May, and Lou, as well as her parents, Ed and Gail Evans. We appreciate your support and thank you for being here. We also welcome all three branches of our state's government. For the judicial branch, I will begin by introducing Justice Walsh's new colleagues in order in which they joined the Kansas Supreme Court. To my immediate left is Justice Dan Biles of El Dorado. To my immediate right is Justice Caleb Stegall, who grew up in Lawrence. Continuing back and forth, Justice K.J. Wall, who grew up in Scott City, followed by Justice Melissa Standridge, whose hometown is Lawrence. Chief Justice Marla Lukert, I think she's watching virtually, grew up in Goodland and would normally be presiding today and is unable to attend due to a medical issue, but we know she sends her very best wishes to you, Justice Walsh. And I'd like to introduce now former justices of our court. Chief Justice Lawton Nuss, Justice Carol Beyer, who you'll be hearing from shortly. And I saw Lee Johnson earlier, Justice Johnson, and Judge Nancy Moritz of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. And welcome back. It is great, and it's such a pleasure to have you with us today. We also welcome Chief Judge Sarah Warner. Why, she's here. No, we don't. No. Well, Chief Judge Sarah Warner, you would be welcome. And I do want to welcome the outstanding members of our Kansas Court of Appeals. And we have some former members of the Kansas Court of Appeals, Mike Boozer and Tony Powell, with us today. And we also extend a warm welcome to the district court judges in the audience. It appears we have representations from the full and wide breadth of our state, from the far southwest, such as what happened. Somebody leaned against, I think probably somebody leaned against the switch up there. Did I do this? It's a black, I think that's a first. All right, we're back. Let there be light. Let there be light. I think I was in the middle of introducing our district court judges, and we have representation I was talking about from all across the state. From the far southwest, Judge Ambrosier is here from Morton County. To the northeast, Judge Cameron is here from Johnson County. It is wonderful to see so many of you here on this such an important day. And we have several current and retired members of the federal judiciary. It's an honor to have you here as well. I would also like to recognize and thank, and you've met, Mr. Doug Shima, clerk of the appellate courts, his staff, and all the other judicial branch employees who worked so hard to make today's ceremony possible. Now, turning to the executive branch, I am pleased to see so many state officials and staff members here today. First, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Laura Kelly, the 48th governor of our state, who appointed Justice Walsh, and welcome to your staff. Representing the Attorney General, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't, but I know here today is Tony Powell and Assistant Solicitor General Andy Lohman. I am also happy to see so many members of our state legislature here and their staff. We welcome all of you. And finally, I know that there's members of the Supreme Court Nominating Commission who are with us today. Each took such a great amount of time and a vast amount of work in investigating, in vetting, in interviewing all of the candidates to determine the nominees who will be sent to the governor for final selection. We appreciate your commitment and your hard work, and thank you for your service. And now finally, to get the ceremony beginning, I'd like to introduce Assistant Secretary of State Jennifer Cook, who will read Justice Walsh's appointment into the record. Ms. Cook, welcome.
Thank you. The certificate of appointment is as follows. Office of the Governor, State of Kansas, certificate of appointment. I, Laura Kelly, Governor of the State of Kansas, hereby appoint and commission Larkin, Evans, Walsh as Justice of the Kansas Supreme Court and authorize this appointee to discharge the duties of this office upon fulfilling all legal requirements. Signed the 7th day of August, 2025, Laura Kelly, Governor.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. And now I'd like to recognize a former member of our court, the Honorable Carol Byer, for some introductory remarks, and then we will hear from Matthew Walsh. Justice Byer. And
good afternoon to all of you. It is my great honor today to open the introduction of your newest colleague, Larkin Evans Walsh. When Larkin was still a law student at the University of Kansas, and I was in my second year on this bench, I received a call from Professor Webb Hecker, who had taught me and thousands of other KU law students business associations law. Webb told me that I would be receiving a clerkship application from a young woman and that she would be the best hire I ever made. I listened to Webb, thought he was his typically persuasive and charming self, and mentally filed away his over-the-top recommendation. I admired his loyalty and enthusiasm, but I thought, no new graduate could possibly deliver the performance he had promised. I have never been so happy to be so wrong. Larkin arrived in my chambers in August of 2005. Like Athena, born from the head of Zeus, she was fully formed as a discerning intellect and an unusually mature lawyer and advisor. She cheerfully set about the primary work of research attorneys, reading the briefs and records and the cases assigned to me, doing additional legal research if necessary, factual research if necessary, and producing well-organized, well-written memoranda before hearings before the whole court. A couple of you will remember this particular thing. It was not long after Larkin arrived that my fellow justices started showing up in the office to discuss some of our cases, some of their cases, with Larkin. This behavior departed somewhat from traditional customary hierarchy at the courts, but I tried not to have too many hurt feelings because my colleagues and I recognized a godsend when we were presented with it. And Larkin's brilliance and diligence and humble collaborative nature marked her as such a star from the beginning. Because she mastered the ordinary workload so quickly, her duties, of course, we've all experienced this, right? They multiplied. She helped with my administrative duties. She was involved in co-authoring law review articles, and she helped to prepare me for public and legal presentations, more than we could ever count. Bottom line, she quickly became a critical player in our always and forever mission to get it right. She made our court more productive, wiser, more empathetic. At home, I praised Larkin so passionately and so frequently that my daughter finally asked, in jest, but with a little bit of teenage edge, "Mom, do you love Larkin more than you love us?" I lied. It's hard for me to believe that it's been more than 20 years since that first call from Webb Hecker, but it's easier when I review all that Larkin has accomplished since. She is now deservedly recognized as an expert appellate scholar and practitioner who has handled high-level cases in state and federal courts inside and outside of Kansas. She has been busy developing a new area of practice for her law firm, an area that her earlier stellar work helped to define. Among other professional and community projects, she has been one of the lead editors for the Kansas Bar Association Annual Survey of the Law for many, many years. And she has served on the Kansas Board of Law Examiners, one of the true workhorses of the court's many administrative boards and commissions and committees. And I'm assured by her colleagues from her time on the board that she was quick to volunteer for some of the most difficult and time-consuming assignments. Of course, in addition, Larkin and her husband, Matt, whom you'll meet shortly, are raising 4 bright and lovely children as well, with a lineup of activities and interests sufficient to keep any parent running from dawn to dusk. I am not sure how Larkin has done it all, but I guarantee you she has done it all extremely well. In short, I am certain that no one the Supreme Court Nominating Commission and Governor Kelly could have chosen would be more ready to perform the job of Kansas Supreme Court Justice on day one than Larkin Evans Walsh. You and I, and all of the citizens of the state we love and serve, are indeed lucky today. Larkin knows exactly what court service demands. She embraces the responsibility, and she has crafted a record of achievement and service made to measure. I urge you, my fellow justices, to welcome her, to listen to her, and to rely upon her. Like me and many, you will be so happy that you did. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Byer.
May it please the court. Permission to turn my back on you to address the.
You have permission.
Thank you. Today is a truly profound and wonderful occasion. It is so nice seeing so many of you, dear friends, colleagues, family members join us today to celebrate Justice Walsh. She asked me to stand up here and introduce her as the newest justice to this court. Truly an honor for me, for her, probably her most and maybe and hopefully only questionable decision she'll have on her time. You know, it's a rare occasion to get to stand up here, and it's something to behold, to celebrate an opportunity to recognize kind of an honor of a lifetime, and especially in front of dear friends, those you hold most closely. It's the honor of my lifetime to get to introduce to you Larkin Walsh as the newest justice. But before we get to that, I want to welcome many of you here today. Governor Kelly, so nice to see you again. It's been a very long time. I hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you for your trust and your belief in Larkin, and thank you for giving us this present of this wonderful public servant. To members of the legislature, so nice to see you here today. Thank you. It's very inspiring to have all three branches of government here today to celebrate this special occasion. To Justices Lukert, Rosen, Biles, Stiegel, Wall, and Standridge, I look forward to getting to know you better over the months and years to come. To all the esteemed judges that are in attendance today, thank you and welcome and thank you for attending. Dean Mazza, thank you for being here. Thank you for your law school. If it weren't for you, we may very well not be here today. To Larkin's parents, Ed and Gail Evans, and to mine, Tom and Marcia Walsh. This is pretty awesome. And I'll say this, our wedding was the best day of my life. Today is my proudest. To our siblings and their families, Allison and David Moore, David and Sarah Walsh, Molly and Isaac Kepler. Thank you so much for your love and for your support. And to our 4 wonderful children, how special that you, along with so many others, get to celebrate your mother and recognize how truly of a special and impressive woman that she is. And maybe you picked up so far in this event, she does a little bit more than mothering. And I will say this, I am impressed with how quickly you have all taken to her new role. Nothing pleases me more than hearing, "May it please the court, could I have a bowl of cereal?" Or, "Yes, Your Honor, I will get those dishes done." That was a joke. No one has ever said that. But maybe. And to our dear friends and colleagues that have come today, thank you for joining us in celebrating Justice Walsh. And there are 2 folks I want to especially welcome. First, George Hanson. You won't find a nicer or kinder gentleman. George is and has been a tremendous supporter of Larkin and a mentor. Thank you, George. I know you're not here today, but thank you. I want to recognize you for your support and your friendship. And Justice Beyer, who you just recently heard from. Please take this as high praise. And for those sitting directly behind me, please take no offense. My second favorite justice. We would be so lucky to have a JB in our lives. I venture to guess we may achieve utopia if we had our own personal JB. Your friendship, your mentorship, your unwavering cheerleading, and your persistent and relentless nudging. We are thankful and grateful for you. And just one anecdote, if I could, this is on Justices Byers and Walsh. Larkin's first job, as she mentioned, was to be a clerk for Justice Beyer on this bench in this court. And as Larkin would tell you, the best job and the best boss that she's ever had. And I think we heard a little bit from Justice Beyer as Hadley, her daughter, would tell you. Maybe Larkin became a second daughter to her. And some people thought maybe even the preferred one. I don't know. But the story I want to tell you is not long after Larkin was appointed to this position, a box arrived at our house. And in that box was the robe from Justice Beyer that she wore while she sat on this bench. I wasn't privy to the note that accompanied this box, but I assume it went something like this. Hey, Lark, or hey, bud. I am so happy and so proud. This is awesome. It was probably followed with a lot of touching words that captured the special bond that these truly impressive women share. And then it probably ended with something like this. Here's my rope. I can't give you my wand. You'll need to get your own. I hear Ollivanders is the best in the business. But on a serious note, there was such a touching, like full circle moment. And it reflects what this achievement means to so many people, which is really the refreshing part in all of this. And I was lying, sorry, Court, when I said I was going to limit myself to one anecdote. I'll tell you another one. Upon sharing the news of Larkin's appointment with a dear friend of mine, he said, "This is the hope that I need. Proof that good things and the right thing will happen. That someone like Larkin is placed in a position like this." And I couldn't agree more with his sentiment or his optimism. So, Justice Walsh, here we are. I love you and I am so proud of you. I can't think of a more appropriate honorific. Justice. It embodies everything you stand for and the hallmark of your career. Relentlessly seeking and upholding justice. Whether during your near decade of time spent serving the judiciary or your decade plus of private practice. Your commitment is to getting it right, not getting it popular or unpopular, but right, because you recognize to all of us, it's too important not to. What gives me as much comfort as your commitment to justice is your commitment to us, to humanity. I could go on, or I could rattle off any number of adjectives that so appropriately describe you. You are the smartest and most brilliant person I know. You're a lifelong learner with an insatiable curiosity. You have an ability to put thoughts into words that all of us wish we had. And you possess an acute awareness, and humility, and empathy. You fully recognize the gravity of this role and the humanity and the dignity of those you now serve. I sensed this the very first time we met. It was our first day of law school. We sat around, a small group of us sat around in this dark room in Green Hall, taking part in the ever-pleasant ritual of forced introductions. And I remember exactly what you said, but it wasn't what you said that struck me. It was that positive burst of energy that radiated from you that hit me and impacted me. And I knew immediately, wow, here is someone who cares about people and who always do what's right and what's necessary. And I'm sure many of us have sensed or experienced this very same thing with Larkin in those moments when we're interacting with her, where we're made to feel as if we are the most important thing that's happening at that moment. And we feel that way because we are to her in that moment. And to the benefit of all of us, this is how Justice Walsh approaches and treats everything. It's how she'll approach and treat this most important position. It's how she's already approaching it. And it is what we should require and what we deserve of each of our public servants. And it is what we will get with Justice Walsh. You know, just the other day, in one of those daily conversations where we're trying to figure out who's responsible for who needs to go get who, read, where do I need to be and who do I need to go get? She says to me, "Gosh, I really need to go get the little kids. I'm going to be late, but I just can't. I'm working on this case that is so interesting that I just can't put it down." So I'm thankful that we have Larkin as our public servant, upholding, defending, protecting, and advancing the rule of law, seeking justice. And with that, it is my most tremendous honor to formally introduce to you Justice Larkin.
Well, Justice Byer and Matt Walsh, thank you for such touching and poignant thoughts and remarks. Very much felt and appreciated. Now for the task at hand. I'm going to come down here and we're going to administer an oath. So let's do that. And that will be followed by the traditional robing, typically with the family. We'll see how that's going to go. You, Larkin Walsh, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of Justice of the Kansas Supreme Court, so help you God.
You do.
I'm gonna go back down the early one. Okay. Okay, well, this is kind of an applause line. Congratulations. Very good. Justice Walsh, welcome to the Kansas Supreme Court. And I will invite you to please take your seat on the bench and I will turn these proceedings over to you. Gladly, I'll turn them over to you. So why don't you come around here and you can greet our colleagues, your colleagues. Justice Walsh.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Chief Justice, colleagues, friends, family, distinguished guests. I'd like to thank Doug Shima, the clerk of our appellate courts, and Michelle Brown, my judicial executive assistant, and the many staff who've worked to make the ceremony happen. Lacey and team, Lisa and team, our stellar IT group, Amber, Trisha, Diana, so many others. And for the two individuals who just introduced me today with their deeply thoughtful and generous remarks, I am so moved. Justice Breyer, there are not words to express how grateful I am to you for giving me my first opportunity, for being the best boss, the shrewdest editor, a model mentor. It is a privilege now to call you a friend. And I'm grateful that you and Richard are here to mark this moment. Thanks for your enduring confidence in me. And Matt, you're my dearest friend, the love of my life. Like all the journeys we've taken and are yet to take, we're in lockstep. I'm so grateful for your loyal support, offered quietly in difficult moments and joyfully in moments like these. Thank you for your grace and your encouragement in your words today. I thank every one of you here today in this beautiful courtroom, gathered downstairs and scattered across the world watching online. I have a best friend from high school here with her daughter. I think some of the KU Law Small section, a Notre Dame contingent out there. I see a majority of the Comiskey's. 7 Flanagans. I am truly overwhelmed and humbled by the fanfare. Gosh, how did this happen? You know, to borrow loosely from an article I read recently about the utterly impossible trajectory of life, with integrity as your compass, you just walk step by next necessary right step until one day, pausing to catch your breath, you turn around and gasp at the path you've traveled. For me, today is certainly a day to pause and gasp and marvel. I've always considered myself an accidental lawyer. I certainly didn't set off from the cradle with a plan. I didn't even leave college with a plan, and my parents will testify to that. My story's not a scripted one, and it's just been the result of being present and doing the next right thing. When I saw the vacancy announcement created by Justice Wilson's resignation, I made the decision to apply. And I found myself pulling together a lifetime of accomplishments, activities, accolades in this 60+ page document. And as an aside, I recommend everyone just do that at some point in your life. It's so affirming. But this gathering of accomplishments and cataloging a career, it really put into sharp focus how many extraordinary opportunities I have had and how many extraordinary people have impacted me. I am so grateful. And as William Arthur Ward said, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So please indulge me while I continue to say thank you to my folks, Ed and Gail Evans, 2 true forces of nature, high school sweethearts who started life together as school teachers in a trailer, through their own striving built careers and a family. Because of them, I can say I took my first bar exam in 1979 while my mom graduated from law school and took the bar exam while she was 8 months pregnant with me. She now owns and manages a successful estate planning firm. And my dad, whose way with people and his drive to fix things led him to a successful career in consulting. I'm still not really sure what that means, but he's finally enjoying retirement and keeping busier than ever. I'm grateful to you two for your example, for fostering your 2 daughters' curiosity and encouraging us to find answers. To my brilliant, beautiful sister, Allison Moore, and her sweet family visiting from New Hampshire. My in-laws, Dr. Tom and Marcia Walsh. My extended Walsh family, David, Sarah, Molly, Isaac, and your beautiful children. you've graciously included me as one of your own. This family community has been a constant buoy, individually and collectively, of unconditional love and support. And the 4 amazing humans who call me mom, I'm so proud to be your mother. Thank you for reminding me every day the meaning of life. And friends, I see so many of you here today. Thank you for being here, and let's find a time to get together soon. To Stevie Siegel Hansen, Pat, Norm, George, colleagues, and Rex, Lori Sharplaw, my partners and colleagues there, thank you for teaching me over the last dozen years to be an advocate, for affirming that a lawyer's greatest commodity is the quality and credibility of the work product that she puts before the court, for giving me an opportunity to be creative, to be a change agent, to brief and argue appeals, and to practice across the country at the highest levels and for the greater good. To the judges in my life, in particular those who've had a really direct and lasting impact on me and changed my trajectory, Justice Carol Beyer, Lee Johnson, Chief Justice Lawton Nuss, and Robert Davis, Justice now Judge Nancy Moritz, former Judge Steve Lieben, former Judge Carlos Murguia, Chief Justice Marla Lukert, and my current colleagues. To the members of the Supreme Court Nominating Commission, past, present, and future, and the many nominating commissions that gather across the state for the service that you gift our state with. We, the people, amended our Kansas Constitution in 1958 to set out the process we currently have for selecting Kansas Supreme Court judges. The commission that's established by our Constitution comes together from across the state, some lawyers, some lay people, to critically vet applicants for judicial positions on the Kansas Supreme Court. There's perhaps no perfect selection process, but having gone through it, I can say that this nomination and appointment process was both rigorous and transparent. There were many highly qualified candidates with a diversity of experience. And in my view, the strong, competent, qualified, and independent judiciary that we are blessed to have here in Kansas is a testament to your efforts and proof that the system is working. To Governor Kelly, for bestowing on me the great responsibility of this role. Governor Kelly, I'm so deeply honored by your trust, humbled by your confidence, and grateful for the opportunity to serve the people of Kansas as a member of our state's highest court. To Justice Evelyn Wilson, whose seat I occupy, but whom I cannot replace, I hope to emulate your love for the law, your commitment to kindness, and your unfailing courage. To my new colleagues, Chief Justice Lukert, Acting Justice Rosen, Justices past, present, and future, my judicial assistant, my 2 incredible law clerks, Michael Overmeyer and Michael Raven, and all of you who've made my transition to the bench not just painless, but pleasant. Thank you. And to all the Kansas Judicial Branch family for the warm welcome back. It is so good to be in this building where I started my law career 20 years ago. It's still sort of a surreal homecoming, but it absolutely feels like I'm in the right place at the right time. And this is the next right thing. And I'm mindful of the climate and the context in which I'm joining this court. This is without a doubt a critical time for the judiciary. But that has always been true. And that is because the judicial branch is so critical to our democracy. I have a profound respect for the institution of the judiciary, its role in our 3-part system of government, and the vital role of state Supreme Court justices to ensure access to fair and impartial justice in our Kansas courts across the state, and to protect the foundational principles that are set forth in our state and federal constitutions. As I told Governor Kelly, as I commit here today to you all in reciting the office, I pledge to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Kansas. I will strive to be a good steward of this office and be the type of justice that all Kansans deserve. And that is someone who, with a clear understanding of the legal issues, will faithfully interpret and impartially apply the law to the facts of each unique case, irrespective of popular opinion or political winds, and all while maintaining a humble awareness of each decision's impact on people and on history. You, like all the citizens of Kansas, deserve nothing less. I'm not here because of some plan, and I'm certainly not here because of politics. I'm here because of people. People, all of you, people who know me, people who've worked with me over the years, professors, fellow law clerks, coworkers, partners, colleagues from the plaintiff's bar and colleagues from on the other side of the V, members of the boards and community organizations I've worked with, judges I've worked for, judges I've worked with, and judges I've appeared before, are confident in my ability to excel in this role. I don't have all the answers. Fortunately, that was not a prerequisite for the job. I will roll up my sleeves. I will do the work. I will find consensus where I can, and I will disagree when necessary in order to do the next right thing, what the law requires. I'm so grateful for your support, honored for this opportunity, and excited to get to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Walsh. And thank you, everyone here, for joining us this afternoon. And as you leave the courtroom today, please be patient with the elevators. And in order to allow for Justice Walsh and her family to get to the Hall of Justice first, please allow them to exit, and then just be patient with the elevators. And I will now say that court is adjourned, and thank you. And please join us in the Hall of Justice for a reception.